Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we're going to be going over some changes that you can do to get your red orange deck to the final level, and we're going to go into some games against Nier. We're actually going to go over the replays. One is that one that I lost right before I hit champion, and the one is my win and end to champion, which was against Nier himself. So that's going to be super exciting to broadcast. But let's go over the deck first. So this is my entire collection, guys. I don't have any yellow cards, any blue cards, none of that. I have orange and I have red. I have dusted everything else so that I can make this deck. That is not necessary for you to do, but it just gives you an example of you have more dust than you believe you do. So, and I could even dust some more. And I've also spent quite a bit of dust on making the deck look good, even though that's not necessary. So we got the 4 Strogipups, we got the Trapezes, of course, we got the Firesong Prodigies that we crafted in the first video. We've got Riverin and Shophorn Bull that we've all crafted in the first video. One of the big crafts that came up is Oak. And we had the wild card, so we went ahead and spent one on Oak of Adania. We had the Wings and the Gika, and we got one more Magmataur. We went ahead and picked up Stairway to Hades as well, using one of our wild cards, and 7-Ring Ritual using some dust. Then we also had Passenger already in the second video, Eager Recruit. We picked up Decertification Engine. This one is the least necessary one. This is the one you can substitute over the easiest with Iafrit or just about anything else. Maybe even another Shadowvar Beast. But yeah, this one is not too necessary. We've got Shadowvar Beast, Parry at the Gates. We had Scion of Pride in the second video, Seal of Exile, Temptation, and our last 2 crafts were To Heaven and Back and Armageddon Angel. So that's the deck. It's pretty stock list. We didn't go fancy, just trying to stick with what we know. I feel like this one is the best mid package. There are ones that have a better late game package if you're worried about going to the late game, and then there are ones that are like better against the early game decks. So if you're worried about aggro and such, you can build your deck to fit those. But let's go ahead and get into some of these replays. Alright, and for the first replay I'm going to show you, we're going to go over my major loss to Nier. And by major, I mean, I don't mean like he just stomped me. I mean, it was a match that I thought I was winning and I ended up losing. So obviously here we're going to burn to play the Strogipup on turn 1. No surprise there. We're playing to the right, so that way if we draw an orange card, we can play it to the left and more likely get that one first. And also we want Strogipup back like the least of all. So I knew that Nier was on red-green. He's been playing that deck a lot, and so I'm pretty comfortable with the matchup. We're usually pretty favored, but I've found that denying their life gain while also getting on our life gain of own allows us to stop them from rushing us down and putting us on the back foot. That way we can set up our value engines and outvalue them. We definitely have the better late game package because of our enchantments and our orange cards, so playing to that is pretty crucial here. And so I'll go ahead and Trapeze down the Strogipup, get in some damage. He plays the Born Again. I believe I go ahead and I Iron Belly this down, which in hindsight is probably a mistake, but it is better to have our Iron Belly in the graveyard than it is to have our Strogipup in the graveyard. But this prevents me from rushing over here luckily I draw the trapezist, so I'm able to get in a bunch of life gain. And again, like if you look at this hand and you look at this board, I'm ahead on board. I have parry in hand and a heaven and back. I'm getting a rush minion back from my graveyard. Like, I am really far ahead at this point, so Ignition comes down, which is a super clean answer, and then he takes the turn off to draw a card, which is again good for us because that means we get to initiate the tempo. So we took the Strogi Pup to just make sure we could develop. He takes the turn off to draw some more cards because his board is not too threatening. We take the turn off to develop Heaven and back. That way we can ensure our value engine and go to the late game. But as you can see, he's got a lot of mythics in his hand and a lot of card draw and a lot of everything. And the Rewind Hex is gonna play a big role in this game.
Let's read.
So we wings plus infuse. Use our parry to keep it alive and also get value off our enchantment. But I mean, look at this. He has 8 cards in hand after he played one. So and I play the Magmatar here, pretty obvious value, but I honestly think that he baited that, and I think that was really well played on his part if that was his intent, because as you can see he has the 7-ring ritual and I used my best answer that I have in hand for that, so really well played on his part by baiting out the Magmatar. Being low on resources, I decide not to burn anything. And yeah, here comes a 7-ring ritual. Excuse me. So we draw. We were hoping to draw like orange card into seal, and we got nowhere near that. I also think that was a mistake as well. If I had burned an orange card, I could have played the new Firesong Prodigy on top of the enchantment and then burned a red card and then ignitioned that, and I would still have a Trapezist in hand. So I don't like this placement I chose either. But we go ahead, we get the oak off the table, get in our damage. They don't have sweepers in the traditional sense, so we don't have to worry about getting swept outside of Magmatar. And Court Stag is just so powerful here. And yeah, that Rewind Hex coming down offers a ton of value. So that was a talking point. If I had hit for face for 4 instead, he would be at 9, and I have 6 in hand essentially, with the Firesong Prodigy giving me another ignition. So unbeknownst to me at the time, he had 2 extract lives in hand, so he was going to be able to gain life, so it was probably correct. But at the time, I think I should have been looking for lethal maybe instead of looking for trades. But I'm also at a really high life total, so I think I valued using my resources and still being on the grind while squeezing down his life total. But yeah, look, if you look at his hand, it's just so stacked. And yeah, this is just a solid case of just big bodies, and we just couldn't find any ways to get through them. We never drew Dark Passenger or Seal or Gika, like even an Armageddon Angel. Like, we just never found our answers to big threats. So a little unfortunate, but it happens. And Magmataur plus Quartz Tag win the game. So it's a prime example of, like, even in a bad matchup, you can still win as far as like near side and just playing to your outs. And like, he played that game very well. So congrats to Near. Good game. Let's move on to our win and end a champion, which happened a week ago. This video is coming out a little late. So as you can see here, we open up with way more removal than we saw in our previous game against him. So there's that, but our initial hand is a lot worse because we don't have any early aggression, and that's something that you really want to prioritize. So I wasn't too happy with the hand when I first opened up. And he has turn 1 Call, which is pretty huge. Luckily for us, he doesn't have a follow-up. And I burned Gika there because I had answers for the first 2 threats, and I had parry. So I was just hoping to hopefully find it again if I needed it. So here I'm pretty sure I go Firesong Prodigy, just to keep developing my board. Yep. Mitigate some of the value he gets from his 4/1, because while it still gets to draw a card, it doesn't trade with one of my creatures, which is like the big part. And this also allows me to continue making deserts, and the incremental damage can really add up. So we went ahead and bumped, mostly because I was afraid of another Rewind Hex. And also it was winter, so dealing 3 damage there ensured that I wouldn't have to spend any more resources to make that trade. Magmataur getting low value, but still getting some. Good for him. And so now we get to do red-orange things, which is develop parry on one of our enchantments and just sit there and grind our opponent out. This game, he's found a lot less of his card draw. I believe here he's 7-ring Rituals because it's a great turn to do so. but with 2 ignitions in hand and drawing the Magnetar off the top, this is not where he wants to be. And we take the Dark Passenger to deal with a tall threat. Clear the 7-ring ritual without a Seal of Exile, which is huge. And puts us in such a commanding position. And so here I contemplated trying to get Heaven and back underneath the Magnetar, but I really wanted to make sure that we didn't lose an unlosable game. So I make sure to trade with the Firebird, and so to that end I can't play both the Heaven and the Wings. So make this trade, see what we draw, burn the orange card. And we're able to play this and then play the token and sack the token. That way we have a nice solid board, very spread out, so Magnetar can't get any value. He's finally able to draw some cards, but it's a little too late. And with parry on an enchantment, Rewind Hex is not looking too good for him. And because it's winter, we get to play Heaven, make this trade, bring down our Trapezist, make this trade as well, and he's had enough. Just too much value, and that's the game. That's how we get in a champion with our Smurf account in under 40 hours. I believe the exact time was 37 hours and 37.7 hours. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe and come check out my Twitch channel. I stream quite frequently, though this coronavirus has got my schedule all messed up and everyone else's, so trying not to compete with the other Mythgard streamers and let everyone stream on their own time. But again, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you with the next one. Alright, so I originally recorded this video before the patch, so I wanted to add this little side note. I don't recommend crafting red orange at this point. I'd wait to see how the meta shakes out. If you do feel like going in on red orange, I would look to Nalka's list. They took second in the Barroom Brawl. I feel like that list is a pretty solid direction in order to take this list. It removes some of the cards that got hit by the patch, and relies less on Iron Belly, which is, I think, the biggest hit that red orange took. Recruiter becoming a 2/2 also is kind of a solid hit, but the fact that Recruiter usually cycles means that it makes up for that nerf just by the fact that it cantrips through your deck, and so you're still going to get value. And to Heaven and back, I still think is a really solid card. I don't think the +1/+1 is what made the deck broken. I feel like the mana reduction and the agile is what made the enchantment OP. So I still think Heaven and back is a pretty solid card. Still going to get a lot of value off that with your parry and stuff like that. So that's what I got. Next video, I will be bringing you a new brew, probably with Zera, so be on the lookout for that, and see you guys next time.